Okay, now anybody been following me for years know that I've been, critical of the people and mainly the Fredericton police and, call them corruption, other bad names, racist, fascist, or whatever. But maybe there's somebody here that could really, calm me down and, just see if things, see how this goes. But yeah, how you doing, you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Yeah, doing well.
Perfect sunny day in Fredericton.
Very good. Very
How good is that?
How's this? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Enjoying my job.
Doing your job, and your job is?
Chief of Police, Charles.
Chief active.
Active. Been there 3 weeks. 3 weeks already. Actually, in my fort.
In your fort, but I could do this.
You could do this job?
I could do the job. No. I could do this interview, and that's what I did. I took about 50 Ritalin, so I could stay calm, no problem.
You don't need to stay calm.
Police chief have a gun on him?
Yeah, I do.
You do? And the Justice Building is right behind
us. We're in the right place.
We're gonna be here. We could do this. And just for the record, we were supposed to have this about 4 weeks ago, even before you were chief.
Busy.
Very busy.
But I made a promise and I kept it.
What's that? Oh, to me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's no editing here.
No, that's good. Actually, I like that.
This is as raw as it gets. Oh, can I call you Roger or Mr. Chief,
changed.
Mr. Roger?
What'd you call me before?
Roger. Roger. I didn't
Roger
call you Roger Brown, and so I call you Roger. Okay, Roger. Why did you come back?
I missed you.
This is going to be... Listen,
I missed you and I had to come back.
You had to come back. Why?
Actually, you know what? It wasn't a career plan, honestly. I was retired, things were well, and this opportunity came up. And I went down the road and explored it, and I think probably no surprise to you that when I left the RCMP when I did, it was after a lot of events, and I was tired and I kind of needed a break.
Yep.
And I did. I took a break. I took a break for 3 years. And when I say I took a break, I still did a lot of different stuff, and.
You were supposed to invite me on your boat.
I'll do that this summer because I'm coming down here this summer.
You're active. I can't do that. I don't like to have an anchor down there.
Oh, you don't like that?
No,
I was on the boat on the weekend.
The St. John River is not that deep, anyway. Thank God. But you came back.
But you know what? I came back because there's a lot of things I didn't get a chance to finish when I was retiring, and this is an opportunity to go back to police work obviously in a leadership role. And, I think there's certain parts of policing that needs to change. I think there's certain part of leadership in policing that needs to change.
You expect me to believe that?
Absolutely.
You're lying already.
No.
You didn't come here because you wanted changes. How long were you a cop for?
36 years.
You worked for 36 years.
Yeah.
Right?
I saw a lot of changes.
Yeah. And the wife said, if you don't get out of the house,
go back to work.
Yeah, you're gonna get a divorce or whatever. A person like you that likes to talk. The wife said, "Get the hell out of the house."
No, she was good. She was okay with me going back to work, but she never said no. Absolutely not. You can ask her. You should interview her.
Oh my God!
But seriously,
they'll be crossing
one of the things,
line.
though, Charles, that I did when I retired, I did a fair chunk of public speaking across Canada.
You did?
On two areas. One was mental health, and the other was leadership, and how both work together hand in hand, right? And it's easy for a police chief or a leader in a community to say they believe in mental health and they support mental health, but there's a difference in saying it and doing it, right?
We're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yeah. So to me, one of the things that I feel is that within senior leadership positions, certainly in policing, that we need to focus differently on the members, their families, the support they get, and the communities to understand our jobs, and for us to understand the community roles. And I've used this analogy a lot when I used to do a lot of public speaking. And you've flown, you've been on an aircraft, when they tell you, they go through a security briefing, right? They'll tell you how to put on your seatbelt. They'll tell you where the exit rows are.
Yep.
And then they talk about the oxygen mask. And they'll tell you there's an oxygen mask that will drop down from the panel above your head.
This should be good. Go
What do
ahead.
they tell you next? They say,
Seatbelt.
no, they say,
No.
on your own mask before you help others. That's what they tell you, right? Now use that and apply that to police work. How can you have an organization who wants to help the public, right, who don't start with helping themselves? How can you support people in the community that are in need of support, whether it be from a mental health perspective, suicide, whatever the case may be, if within your own organization you don't have the same support systems to deal with our own membership? You got to have a healthy organization to deal with the community in a healthy way.
Roger.
If you're going to be respectful, let me finish this though. If you're going to respect the public, you got to have respect from inside. If you want to have an organization that cares, you got to have caring inside. If you want to be honest with the public,
What are you trying to do?
you got to be honest
What are you
inside.
trying to do? Put tears to my eyes?
I'm serious. So that's why. And I you know what? I'll tell you, I've been with Fredericton Police now. This is my 4th week, and
Excuse me a minute. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah.
and you know what?
Here's what's
There's-
up.
no.
No, you sure?
No, I can't. I'm good. I don't need that. I have some, like there's some really, really good people in that organization, Charles.
Agree? 100%.
Really good people.
Yes.
And
Agree 100%.
there's others that are looking for change. There's others that are looking for answers. There's others that ask a lot of questions. But I can tell you one thing.
More than me?
Some. And I think, and you alluded to this in one of your blogs at one point in time.
You read my blog?
I do.
You need a life. Don't you?
No, you know what? I find your blog interesting because you come at it from a different angle. And sometimes when I went into an organization, I didn't know anybody. I really didn't know. I knew some faces, but I didn't know all the people.
So you got a few characters you knew that I mentioned that you met
Well, there's some
face.
I didn't
We won't mention your name,
but I didn't know them, right?
Yeah.
So what you do with that though, Charles, is you start off on a different perspective. And I said this one, I start off by trusting everybody. Once bit, twice shy. I couldn't go in there to Fredericton and say, you know what, I'm going to take 6 months and find out who I can trust and who I can't. There's some really good people there.
Mm-hmm.
I think in fairness, and I think you mentioned this on one of your blogs, I think the organization kind of felt that they needed someone from the outside to come in.
Yep.
Different set of eyes, looking at things a little differently. I've asked a ton of questions. One of the things, and the members, in Fredericton Police know this by now, when I ask a question, one of the things that drives me crazy is when I ask someone, they say, well, we've always done it that way. It doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. It doesn't mean it's the best way to do it. It may mean that there's a different way of doing it. So I hate an answer, well, we've always done it this way, so we're going to continually do it that way. And that tells me that they're ready for change and they want change. And, we need to have a different focus in some areas.
By the way, is that bad to call you a Newfie?
No.
Or you feel
I don't care.
The Newfie or Newfoundlander? What is it?
I don't care. Some Newfoundlanders get upset at Newfie because they see it as derogatory.
Where was it? It was the Simpsons name. They got upset. The Simpsons mentioned Newfie. And they were all
yeah.
upset.
Well, they got upset. But you know what? I don't make that a big deal. I really don't. But if you, some people in Quebec don't like to be called certain terms.
Okay,
New
Mr.
Brunswickers don't like to be
Okay,
called
Newfie, I'm letting you talk too much.
That's because I'm controlling the interview. You don't like that, right?
No. You could say anything you want. It just goes. There's no editing. It's very raw. It sounds so good what you said, and then you come from a background of non-union,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
By the way,
That's not true though. In some ways, the members in the RCMP weren't unionized.
They
I
weren't?
think no, they were not.
They weren't, no.
However,
now they changed.
all the public service officers, public service employees were union. So I dealt with unions my whole life,
Okay.
but not at the uniform level.
No.
That's the difference.
And that could be a major problem.
Okay, but let me stop you.
Again?
Yep. When you hear a siren, right? It doesn't matter if it's police, fire, or ambulance.
We used to have
That
police.
tells
We used to have
you-
police scanners, and I would
Okay,
run. Now
but-
we'll get to that
okay,
later. We'll
but
get to
if-
that later. Go
but
ahead.
If you hear a siren go in public, you know what that tells you?
Somebody,
There's a break in the system.
I always think of somebody that has tears in their eyes.
Well, there's a
That's what I
break in the system. There's either a break in criminal justice system, the health system, where they need help, right?
Yeah.
If you look at grievances and you look at arbitration between labor and management, that means there's a break in the system. That
Yes.
means something went wrong somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But if you and the labor management side of the house are on the same page with respect to looking out for the membership, looking out what's best for them and the community.
That sounds good, I tell
But
you.
you know what though? I got to tell you, I had a labor management team meeting last Thursday. There were about maybe 8 or 9 of us in the room, and the first 3 agenda items, everything they no, that's only they won't.
No, you know what? I respect bees and hornets because
They
we
won't
need
bother
them.
you.
No.
You don't bother them.
Exactly.
See?
And if you don't bother bloggers, they won't bother you. That's
right.
what exactly
But the
what
thing
it's all
is,
about.
within the first 3 items on the agenda
sorry.
were exactly what I would have done. They said we need this, and they were 100% right. It's just that at times, when you look at a negotiated agreement, that's no different than a rule book in a hockey game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got a referee on the ice, and this is the rule book, and you got 2 teams. The 2 teams will have a different interpretation of how the game should be played,
So is
and
it-
the rule and the referee calls it.
Is it will it be the chief of police or would it be the New Brunswick Police Commission that the public has got to cry?
Well, no, the public. You know what? The police commission, though, there's a review going on at the Brunswick Police Commission.
Tell me about it.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. The guy. Do you know who's doing that review?
No.
Alphonse McNeil.
Well, no.
Alphonse McNeil's the guy that
My
did.
last name, McNeil. I'm Scottish.
Oh.
My mother's from Glasgow. You almost took a heart attack. Sorry.
McNeil.
Me mother from Glasgow, Scotland. Go ahead, sorry.
Alphonse McNeil did the review of the shootings in New Brunswick.
Okay.
And I tell you, he's not going to leave any stone unturned. And the police commission, it has a role. I'm just not sure right now if the roles are clear with respect to how we as management interact with the police commission, because you got to understand in the beginning, not everything has to be dealt with at a police commission level.
But there was nowhere to go.
Well, maybe though, from a management perspective, it needs to be looked at a little differently. If you think that the police commission was the referee, I'm not sure that's the case. Anyone in a position like mine or any management position, you have to hold people accountable.
Yeah, but they belong to a union.
Yeah,
Which I support union,
yeah.
but in the police uniform, like you said.
Yeah.
How?
But the unions are not all bad though.
No.
Unions have a role.
I always say union sonority,
Right.
and sonority protects the bag liquor, the holes, and the rat. That's what union sonority. But if you have sonority in the police force, the bad apples won't mention no names. I'll do that after they're gone. But if you listen to my videos anyway. But no. But the bad ones are protected.
Okay, but that's called accountability. And I tell you, and one of the things, actually, someone asked me in an interview, which really caught me off guard. They said,
Which interview? You were busy for a while.
I'm not sure. I think it was the Gleaner, actually. I'm not sure.
Fredericton Irving paper.
Yeah.
Upton Irving paper.
Well, whatever.
St. John Irving paper.
Fredericton.
Fredericton
Irving
Irving
paper,
Thank
whatever,
you.
right?
I want to educate the people. It's all right. You're new here. Go ahead.
So one of the questions that they asked me was, they said, I heard that some people say that they were scared of me.
Scared of you?
Yeah. And I said, I've
Who
never
would be
heard,
scared of you
I
then?
don't, well, there's someone that probably, the only ones that should be scared of me are lazy people who don't want to work, and people who work without an eye on rules and regulations and feel that they can do whatever they want because they're a police officer. There's certain things that I do within my job, certain things I expect of them. When it comes to core values, honesty, respect, professionalism, I'm going to hold them accountable. And if they are lazy and don't want to...
What's your definition of lazy anyway? Oh, like that guy. I know you could say, can't talk about it, but that cop that's in trouble said he had ADHD. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was before you arrived.
That's right.
And you look at a
That's the
guy.
guy that's before arbitration.
Yes, what's his
Okay.
name? Zach or whatever.
Cody.
But that guy,
Constable Cody.
Constable Cody, and that guy, I met him a couple of times, but that guy, what the description they said, and ADHD, 5 different jobs, you never finish the job, then you get caught, then, try to lie. But that's a perfect description of ADHD. You start something, but you never finish it, but held accountable. Now they're going to arbitration. I know a police officer is supposed to be held accountable. We're not even going to talk about.
But here's the value.
We're not even going to talk about me yet.
No, but
anyway,
you know what,
right.
though, Charles? You hit a good point there. The fact is,
Mental illness.
okay, so now look where it's 3 years down the road now,
Lots
right?
of money.
And so if you have a true bona fide mental health issue, once that's identified, you start dealing with it. You don't
Yes.
start burying it.
Exactly.
But when it surfaces later on, sometimes it's the whole notion of killing a fly with a hammer, right?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if something happens and there's a true bona fide mental health issue, no matter what you do, if you don't deal with that, you're gonna get you're going to get the same response all the time,
Yep.
unless you deal with it, right?
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, and you've said it yourself, I wasn't here
No.
when that surfaced, and I'm not here to judge what was the decisions that were made in the past, but I'll tell you that when I'm in the chair, you've got to look at that from a holistic perspective. If it's on duty, if it's off duty, what's the impetus behind it? You know what happened August 10th here. You know what happened in June 4th.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Well, you know the situation,
Yeah.
you know the story,
Yeah.
and everybody reacts to situations like that in a different way, and you absolutely have to peel back the layers and try and figure out how to help people when they are down and out, whether it's
right.
mental health or otherwise.
You sound. You talk like you're like second coming of Christ. There. You know, like be open. Every day you gotta communicate with the uniform officers.
But it's
You
true.
have to communicate with the public. You have to communicate with pain in the ass bloggers.
No, but you know what though? We're saying the same thing. That's why it's harder for you to interview, because I'm not arguing with you.
Do you
Because
smoke marijuana?
No, I don't.
It's legal.
I know.
You don't
but
smoke it?
No. Here's something
You're
else.
right. Love
you know what,
everybody.
though?
You
I
turn
gotta
to
say,
somebody and you say,
no.
"I love you," and next thing you
Listen.
know, they'll bring you in court and say you love somebody.
You know
They'll put you in a
something?
mental ward for 30 days. Go ahead.
Alcohol's been legal since I've been born. I've never been drunk in my life.
What kind of Newfoundlander are you?
I don't know. Maybe I missed the boat. I don't know.
Listen, you missed it.
You're right.
You missed
I enjoy
something.
a social drink. I enjoy a beer on a hot summer day. But
You got a cross around there?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
You're a believer?
I am
You are? What are you? Catholic? Protestant?
Anglican,
Anglican. Okay.
Protestant.
Yeah, I know.
But I married a Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
how's that work?
my mother was Protestant and she married my father security. Anyway, we're getting off focus.
Okay,
We gotta
all
focus.
So we want the same thing.
Okay, we want the same thing. All right. Okay, let's go to the same thing. Let's go to the same thing. One issue was that was brought up, which I've been fighting for years, as you know, riding a bicycle
Without a helmet.
without a helmet. Now, I talked to this guy that was stopped 3 years ago, and I saw him Saturday, and I said, I'm going to talk to the police chief. I'm going to hold this to the police chief. I'm going to mention your case. I won't mention your name. He said, oh, go ahead, mention my name. I don't care. All right. This guy was stopped 11 o'clock at night by a Fredericton police member riding a bicycle with no helmet. And then the black guy looks at him. Yes, may I help you? Oh, it's you. His name is Mike Hoyt. He works as a commissioner at the legislature. One of the first guy I met in Fredericton when I lived in a tent in front of the legislature. A black guy. Oh, it's you. Then that night he was stopped. His cousin was stopped. So for have police officers to stop people riding a bicycle at 2 o'clock in the morning, to use that avenue to, they say, what the are you doing? Next thing you know, they search you and all that. What's your, and the rat patrol, is the park patrol here?
Park patrol.
Yeah. Are they here?
Yeah.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah. Two summer students and a member that patrol with them. Absolutely.
Only two?
No, but it's 2 summer students hired, but they work alongside regular members. Yeah.
Are they going to hunt down people riding a bicycle on the trail?
It's not the issue of hunting down, honestly. You know, I got to laugh because the bicycle helmet issue is not a police issue. We didn't make the law.
I know exactly how the law
Right.
came with Frank McKenna. I told Frank McKenna, I rode a bicycle across Canada, across the States. Okay, what's next? Elbow pad?
Yeah.
What's next? Knee pads? I said, you have to wear goalie equipment at the end to ride a bicycle.
I'm a goalie.
Me too.
Are you a goalie?
Yeah, they used to call me Hextall.
I'm bad too.
Remember
I'm bad in the
Hextall?
crease. Oh, Ron Hextall, yeah.
Billy Smith?
My crease is mine. But that's what the rules are.
Violence is not the way we're going to communicate. Never mind the goalie. But no,
Okay,
but
so
he
back-
said,
so
but
here's-
the
you raised a
bicycle,
good point,
the bicycle. So you turn around. I have McKenna. I said, the lobbyists must be very strong. I said 16 years and younger. Not everybody. That was 1994. It never crossed my mind that the police. I wrote letters to the editor. It never crossed my mind the police would use that avenue to go after certain people that rides a bicycle with no helmet. Go ahead.
You should never use any law. Forget the bicycle. It doesn't matter if it's speeding. It doesn't matter if it's using jaywalking, not using a crosswalk, burnt out headlight to go after certain people. You don't go after people. It's the offense that police are paid to deal with, not the people.
You seen my first video with that's where trouble started with the Fredericton police. Fred was, come over. Oh, you're running a
didn't say
bicycle?
that one, no.
I'll send you that. Anyway, next thing you know, where you're running a bicycle with. But what you thought, that was after Stafford was acquitted because he hurt that, he beat up that soldier and he was acquitted. And I filmed. Remember I filmed that video?
Oh yeah, that was the use of force thing.
Yeah,
that,
and it
but
was
went
because
through
of
the
me.
process.
Yeah, and I
Right.
filmed it was found not guilty.
Right.
And when he was found not guilty, they come after me. And one of the ways to come after me was riding a bicycle with no helmet. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
I'm going to take one more. Touch the tape that. 20? I'll shut
no,
up. Go ahead.
don't take that. So,
What
but
do
you
you
know what
mean?
though? But you raise a really good point.
Of course I do.
And the thing is, we can't target people. Police in Canada can't target people based on color, race, religion.
My
That's
tongue-
not the way.
my tongue
your
hurts.
tongue.
My
or
tongue
you,
hurts.
Or
I'm
yeah,
biting
bite
it.
it.
I'm
But
biting
you know
it.
what though? You asked me earlier about accountability. That's being accountable. And you know what? You know where we are in Canada with respect to street checks and with respect to targeting certain groups, whether it be
Blacks,
based on color,
Halifax.
whatever. You can't do that.
No.
So riding a bike without a helmet, if I ride a bike without a helmet and you ride a bike without a helmet, we're both on the same page.
Hey, that's
it
what I've
doesn't
been
matter
saying.
whether I'm police chief or you're a blogger.
Yeah.
Laws are there to be followed. Now, if you don't follow it, that's a whole different story. But the whole issue behind that though is police discretion. And you know as well as I know, if I could be driving home tonight and a car can pass me on a double line and there's discretion whether or not I stop them. And if I do stop them, there's discretion whether or not you give them a ticket, a warning, and it's based on what, the situation, the day, the weather, the traffic, all the stuff that comes into play. Bicycle without a helmet, it's a bylaw. Well, yes, we need to enforce it, but here's where I say
Enforce it, everybody.
Well, that's it. You enforce it.
Yeah.
You enforce it.
If
all
you
across
see
the road.
if you stop somebody, then you see somebody else driving a bike, you call immediately and say reinforcement.
Well, you do
Not
you
just certain
enforcement
people.
across the board, not just to you specifically, and not
Exactly.
just to me. Or conversely, you can look at it the other way. You can say, if bicycle helmet safety is an issue, you don't target certain people. You can say don't target people wearing suits. You can say don't target people. Law doesn't discriminate. Law
Okay.
calls it. You deal like it is.
It's all right. Okay, sorry. This is just like a waltz. We're feeling each other there, and then we're just.
And then all of
going
a sudden you're going to come out with the.
No,
you're going to have a shot across the bow.
No. If I want part 2 in 3 months from now,
Oh,
I
I'll
want
meet you.
I
No
want.
issue.
I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll see how
Yeah,
it
no,
goes.
it's all good.
This is just the beginning. Drug problem.
Yeah.
What kind of drugs do you think there's a problem here in the city, or what's going on?
You know,
By the way, I'm not condemning the cartel or where they want to be shot
no.
like walking the
Listen,
bridges at night, but the issue of people.
I have had a number of briefings so far, and am I overly comfortable with what I'm hearing with respect to the amount of drugs in the city? No, I'm not.
Oh, do you?
I think it's an issue that it's on the rise. More than I'm surprised in that it's probably more prevalent than I had thought, to be honest. And every time you have, you talked about earlier about the legalization of cannabis. Well, legalization is one issue, but there's still a and the illegal side, and it comes down to like alcohol and prohibition. If you're going to buy something, you're going to go and get it cheaper somewhere else. If it can get it done through illegal activity, whether it be organized crime or wherever it comes, you're going to get it. But that's cannabis. What I'd be far more concerned about from a police perspective and from a police force is, you know, when you get into meth, when you get into cocaine, when you get into, you know, much harder, higher level drugs, that's what concerns me, and that's a problem in the city. I think that's.
How do we do it?
How
do we deal with it?
We got to get back in the street. I don't think we got enough of. I don't think we got enough of an emphasis on the drug situation in the city from a police officer patrol perspective.
There's a guy, won't mention no name, going around town. You've seen the videos, maybe screaming, hollering, going after a woman, and they say, "Well, okay, it's mental illness," and then. At the end, you know, the guy is at point to no return, my opinion, heavy drugs. But a guy like that, now the minute they're under Section 10, the Mental Health of the New Brunswick Act, I was talking to Patrick Small. Nice guy. You know him?
No.
You guy, police force? Okay, Patrick.
Mine?
Yeah, Patrick Small. Patrick.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yes, you're just like me, names. Anyway, he drives a motorcycle.
Okay.
So you know, we're taking him and three other cops about 4 or 5 weeks ago talking about him. How can you handle it? They can't do nothing under the Mental Act. The Mental Act, they can't touch him. But if he crosses the line and touch a woman on the butt, then he goes to jail. And jail is not the place for a guy like that. So how are we going to fix this mess?
Well, first of all, though, and you know, I worked a shift last week. I was on patrol all day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And do that?
Yeah, I do that.
I thought you just stay in the office and read some paper, file, and check your, where is it?
My BlackBerry, I put it under the sun because it was burning.
Okay.
But no, I was on patrol I worked with the members last Thursday all day. We ended up going down Brunswick Street. And there was a guy down there that had some pretty significant mental health issues. And we brought him to the hospital and for him to be dealt with. And his parents were concerned, he was concerned. There was a potential for violence, which is why 2 cars showed up and there were 4 of us instead of 2. And, you know, all that guy wanted was help, right? But in order for that to turn beyond being just a policing problem, because it's not a police problem, it's a social problem, you know that. So you got to go beyond just the police handling this from an arrest or from, because when you're trying to deal with a person, whether it's drug related or mental health, oftentimes they're really violent. Oftentimes they have strength that is probably sometimes 3, 4, sometimes 10 times what the normal person's strength is, just based on the drugs and the reaction in the body. You know that. So obviously the police reaction to try and control that, one person can't do it, one police officer can't do it. So then all of a sudden you see 3 or 4 police officers.
There come the tasers.
Right, well, you know what? The tasers were meant to deal with certain situations. Sometimes they're appropriate, sometimes they're not. The fact is though, whatever we use as a use of force in that whole continuum is all it's supposed to do is to control a situation and subdue. That's all it is, right? But once a person goes to the hospital, and it goes into the the health system whereby the person is checked by a professional or whatever, and we leave, and a half hour later they're back out on the street. There's a bigger issue.
This is not only Fredericton, this is everybody.
This is Canada, right? Yeah. And that's what I said to you earlier, and you said, you know, it was like singing Kumbaya together, but the fact of the matter is, it's not until, Charles, that we figure out that some of these issues are not a one group solution. We have to work with the health side of the house, we have to work with the education side of the house, you have to work with the addiction side of the house, you got to work with the judicial side of the house.
Oh yes.
Because when you send someone to court and they send them to jail.
Yep.
Well, how does that help?
That's not going to help at all.
So, but we know that.
Why do we want to put me in jail anyway?
I don't know. I wouldn't. Oh, but that was a...
You're so nice, Roger. Maybe I could have you as a character witness once I'm
you
in
apply
court.
for a job?
I'll be your reference. I'll apply for the Rat Patrol. I mean, the Park Patrol.
Park Patrol.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, the issue of drugs And I think the government really has a problem. I'm supposed to meet with Blaine Higgs like this this week sometime.
He'll meet with you.
Oh yeah, I know that. Never mind, they're not supposed to be political. But speaking of political, sorry, we're jumping, sorry.
Go ahead.
When you see your RCMP office, you were involved with shale gas. That's the first time we met.
Yes, we met, yeah.
That video,
Yeah.
that did pretty good.
You did.
I ambushed you.
You did.
Anybody wants to see that, go to YouTube, right? Roger Brown and Charles LeBlanc.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah,
I
first time
found
we
it
met.
interesting, though.
It was also, and you hit all the red lights,
And we had to stop at every one.
every one of them.
And you said, I love this.
I love
because you
this.
can't go anywhere.
Yeah, and who are you? And
Yeah.
but that was communication.
But you didn't have all you didn't have all the facts. You thought I was from out west.
So you told me, oh, you from Lander. Who was the woman beside you?
That was Inspector. Oh.
She didn't know what to take. What was going on.
Lucy. Lucy Dubois. She's,
Okay,
Yeah.
so shale gas,
Yeah.
and we know what happened there.
Mhm.
Now you see a protest
Mhm.
in front of the legislature
Mhm.
on any issues. Are you going to direct your officers to, okay, there's Charles LeBlanc, I want everything on Charles LeBlanc, he was protesting against shale gas,
You have a right to
or
protest,
protesting, but you as the chief,
Right.
are you going to demand, are they going to be where they live and all that, all protesters
listen,
taking pictures?
You know that the issue of protesting in Canada, all you got to do is read the news or look at the news any night. You'll see people protesting all over the place.
Not here.
It's where the protesters cross the line of illegal activity.
What's your
where we
opinion
get
of
involved.
President?
Well, illegal. So you have a right to protest.
But-
You have a right of free speech. You have a right
But
to
will
say
you
what you
investigate?
believe.
You won't investigate
What's-
a
what's-
single...
why do you investigate a single thing?
Somebody asked me that. Asked
No,
me to ask you
there's
that.
no need. That's not the issue. If you have a group that are, I don't know, activists for abortion or anti-abortion, or activists for, I don't know, gay rights,
Yeah.
LGBT. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
I wish I was gay, because you know why? I'll have rights.
But you got rights now.
No, I'm poor. The poor have no rights. But if I was gay, I'll say, oh, what are you guys bothering me for?
you
Because I'm
know,
gay. Then
but-
you get the Human Rights Commission on your side. You get everything on your
But you-
side.
but if
you
you-
don't have to answer that.
No. But if you wanted to make a complaint as a Joe Public, Joe Blogger, under Canadian human rights, you can.
Where? No, they were...
Absolutely.
No.
The discrimination is in certain categories.
only gay or black or religious.
Sexual orientation. They're all
Sexual.
listed
I just
out
said
there.
that. Gay.
Yeah.
But nothing about the poor.
Well, no, they don't list out the
No,
poor as
and they
one.
should. You get charged with summary assault, summary sexual assault. You know why you're charged against summary? Number one, legal aid in New Brunswick will not give you a lawyer. And number two, there's no preliminary hearing to find out if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. So at the end, people with mental illness or whatever, the duty counsel say, I just talked to the
Yeah, but the
prosecutor.
criminal code, though, Charles, defines summary conviction and indictable offence in a different
Yeah, if
way,
it's
right?
an indictable offense, you get a
Right.
lawyer. But if it's
Yeah.
not, then you're forced to plead guilty. Then you fart on Queen Street, and then they say, you know, I wasn't guilty in the first place. Well, you should have thought about
Yeah,
that
but
before.
I think it's a
That's
little
how
bit-
they-
it's a bit
that's-
more complex than
no,
that.
No. That's how they do it, Roger. My
But
job
that's-
is to educate you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll keep trying to get
Roger.
you to learn.
Yeah,
I'll try to
okay.
keep trying to learn.
How long you been there?
It's
3
my
weeks?
fourth week.
4 weeks. You think you're going to last another...
Oh, I'll last.
With this good
Why wouldn't I
public...
last?
You haven't took out the gun yet,
No,
so we're doing good.
No.
Police scanners. What do you think of that?
Police scanners, you mean the radio ones? They don't work much anymore.
They don't.
They're non-issue.
know
Most of
what?
the radios now you can't control them.
I'm
right?
talking too much maybe here, but I'm telling you a story right quick. When I filmed the soldier that got what was
Yeah.
roughed up, I was walking all drunk up in front of Tannery. There was 7 police officers. Rob Costello was one of them, standing there. And I was there, yeah, that's what I got. Well, looking at me, say, I'm drunk. Guess what I got? I got a police scanner. And he said, you know what? You guys are not cops. You guys are social workers. And what you said earlier about going into places and people on drugs, and you got to take care of it, and communication, that was 11 years ago. And the public could tell, really, what police really, really did. And I was one of the biggest supporters of the cops until they came after me. It's a Scottish thing.
Yeah, but that wasn't. But then, but
we'll get to that later again.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, police scanners, public knows what you're doing.
But
No
public
police
should
scanner,
know what we're doing.
but we don't
in
know.
certain areas.
We don't know.
In certain areas. Like I don't listen. You could follow me any day. I don't have a problem telling people where I am, what I'm doing.
Well, we know that.
And neither should anyone on patrol or working what they right now. There's certain times when you're dealing with criminal activity that it's nobody's business, because then it's in the best interest of the public that they don't know. Because you want to feel safe walking around Fredericton, and if you know there's something happening in the city that's illegal, that compromises your health or your family or your friends.
Thirsty?
No, I'm good.
You're doing a lot of
I'm
talking.
good.
Okay,
Then
all right.
we should be dealing with that, right? But when it comes to what we're doing day in and day out, how we operate, how we speak to people, how we treat people, how we arrest people, why wouldn't that be public?
2 weeks ago,
Right?
there's a guy that they emailed me. I don't know why. I'm not the news, not the National Enquirer.
Maybe you're the ombudsman.
No, yeah, that's been totally worthless. All he does is give recommendation. Me, I guess I'm what you call troublemaker. But anyway, the police went to a daycare. Nobody comes out. It was on Needham Street somewhere, and it was a pellet gun, I guess. And at the end, they were saying could be a shooter that's on the street. Now, how the public supposed to know stuff like that? At least you had a police scanner. You knew there was trouble in the area.
Well, there's
In New York, Chicago, they
Yeah.
have police scanners.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Go ahead.
But I think that we could do a much better job telling the public what's going on and what they need to do for their awareness. Social media took over that role in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
right? But
That's why you're sitting here.
right. But we also went down the road, though, Charles, too, of the police choosing to, in a lot of ways, choosing no comment as a course of action,
Exactly.
which I don't agree with. To be frank, if it's a criminal investigation and you can't divulge certain information because it's going to have a negative impact on court proceedings and so on, then not answering those questions makes common sense. Most general public would say it makes sense, but not disclosing information for the sake of safety and people being aware and so on, I don't have an issue
Okay,
with that.
like Saturday, they said there's a business that was robbed
Right.
in the southern part of town,
Right.
Fredericton South. Okay, if the public we could receive some information, we'd appreciate it. Okay, where is it? Big place. Well, like we can't tell you that. What?
Yeah, it's not helpful.
No. This area, block 400,
Yeah.
there it was bombed at this time. If you could help us.
So that's a cultural shift. And the other thing too is a lot of police organizations, and my understanding is Fredericton included, have gone down the road of police spokesperson, right? But you know what? Sometimes the best person to divulge information to the public is the police officer on the street. They're the ones that are there. They know what's going on, right? So if they're asked to say, yeah, what we're investigating here is an accident where we have injuries, traffic's going to be blocked, we'll get to you as soon as we can. Whether the person was impaired or there's an investigation or there's a stolen vehicle, that'll all come after, right? But to say no comment, or we got to wait until the police spokesman comes, is not
Communication
helpful.
again.
But that's been, you know how a clock works. You know how a pendulum works. And sometimes the pendulum swings and it swings, and sometimes they got to go way over here before it starts to come back. And hopefully we can find a place where it settles in the middle, with respect to communication, with respect to having the public informed, whether it be social media. But the best way for us, if you look at Moncton, Charles, and I don't always want to zero in on that, but on June 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 4th and 5th, how did we get the information out to everyone across Canada about what was going on?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something about that. I don't want to. One more thing. We'll get to that in 1 second. Walk the beat. What you just said. Are you going to be? Somebody told me.
Me
you even you. But you love to talk, so you'll walk the beat and talk to people. But that's what you need, communication. A person asked me, King's Place.
Yeah.
It's getting really bad. They almost lost King's Place a few months ago. But a police going to walk, for an example, you don't have to answer this. You know the name Kim Campbell?
Campbell, the politician, Kim Campbell?
No. Is it Kim Campbell?
Works for me.
They used the female that got caught shoplifting.
Oh, in the organization?
Campbell. It's so hot.
It's a Campbell?
She's going to kill me. Yeah, is it Campbell? Anyway, it's not important. But this person there, you don't have to answer this. Former cop. But
Sherry.
Sherry. Thank you. Sorry, Sherry, my God. Sherry Campbell. But then you turn around, this person that knew all the people on the street, did she screw up? Of course she did. There's no question about it. Then they blah, blah, blah. But you need good public relation. She had the perfect style.
I don't know.
Anybody that could communicate with me has to be good. But are you going to really focus on having good public relation officers on the street and do
Well,
the
it's not
patrol?
just on the beat. I got to get officers back on the street. Absolutely. And if you ask the members that I have talked to so far, well, I've talked to most people in the organization, we have a deployment issue. We just got to make sure that our people are deployed where they're needed. And if they're not needed, like we have a lot of people working day shifts instead of on patrol, in the cars as opposed to getting out. We have motorcycles. If you look at a police officer on a motorcycle, it's far more approachable than a police officer in a car.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Police officers on bicycles, far more approachable than a car. Police officer on the beat, far more approachable than a car.
Exactly.
But the ones that are in a car can still stop and get out.
Yeah.
You can stop and get out and go into a store. I can walk this street, Main Street here, any day. If I just walk up and down the street and not go into a store and see how things are going, talk to a store owner,
that's what we need.
Happen. But that's the pendulum, and that's a shift. Over time, the term that a lot of people use is the militarization of policing, right?
Yeah.
You turn police into robots as opposed to the older concept of
numbers,
stats and whatnot. And
in the courts.
right.
Boom,
but
boom,
if you look
boom.
at community policing, and that's a term that's often misunderstood as well. Community policing, and I used to teach this stuff years ago in different parts of the world, talking about community policing and how it was done in Canada. The intent for community policing was to have the police and the public working together to identify issues of their concern and then work together to solve them. Bottom line. So if vandalism was an issue, if breaking and enters was an issue,
you need the trust of the public.
Absolutely.
And
where'd that come from? Fields principles, right back to policing when it started.
I told Leanne Fitch at a meeting at one of the news conference I sneaked in. I don't know.
You should be invited, but anyway.
I should, thank you. But then why be invited to a news conference when I can just have a sit down here? But I told her, will you go to the community and have meetings? You know how many people come to me and say, those cops are assholes. Let me tell you a story. And then they just come to us. What are you coming to me for? And it's, okay, will you go on camera? Oh, no, I can't go on camera because they're afraid.
Yeah.
But they want me to tell the story. Where did you hear that? You know what I mean? So are you going to have, okay, we're going to meet at Christ Church at 7 o'clock Wednesday night. New Chief Roger Brown. You should say Newfoundlander. Newfie Roger Brown. And I love to talk, but I will listen. I'll take my Ritalin, and I will listen to the public
Absolutely.
concern.
Absolutely.
You know what that word means?
Ritalin.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That means I will.
Ritalin. No, of course you know what
no.
Ritalin means.
I will.
Absolutely.
I will.
That means if you don't do it,
You're going to hold me accountable.
big time.
No problem. I do it. But listen, I've done that. I've already started doing that. But obviously I had to do it internally first to figure out the lay of the land and see where I'm going to go. But there's already... the feelers are out with respect to where I need to be and who I need to speak to find out what's happening in the community. And yeah, I'm new and I need to understand that. And a public forum like that is one way. That's not the only way. I can walk the street, which I'm more likely to do first. If I walk down the street and I walk into all those stores and I talk to store owners or employees and how are things going, I'll get feedback. Because then it's answering a question. Sometimes when you get into an open session, it's sometimes more difficult to get to the root of the issue because not everybody wants to speak openly, like you said. Sometimes one-on-one is an easier way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to create an atmosphere
Trust.
Okay. So how does that start? Step by step. And I got to start on that first, right? I'll get
Sounds
there.
good.
I'll get there. Just give me some time.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
You can actually come. You can set it up.
I could set it up. You imagine Charles LeBlanc. I don't even want to talk about my issues. Maybe we'll talk that to part 2. Milton.
Yep.
Now, where were you that night?
Where was it? The night it happened? I was coming back from. I was actually in.
We had an interview
In the
before
States.
that. You were in the States.
Yeah, it was Pennsylvania.
And I was behind it. I was thinking about that yesterday when I walked the bridge. When I went to Mattaquack and came back, I was right behind Tim Hortons Woodstock Road when that happened. All that issue, we know, sad tragedy. But you know what really pissed me off? My blog were just going beep, beep, beep. People were looking for information,
Right.
communication, what we're doing now, communication. The Irving Media, their website, if you wanted to know information, you had to go through their paywall. You had to pay. You had to pay. It wasn't open. And that really pissed me off.
Okay.
Because the community, get together. He was the idiot. Look at that. The Park Patrol, the Rat Patrol.
See? What did I tell
Look
you?
at that. The first time I see them.
And they have helmets on.
Look at that. They got helmets on. They're hunting down Indians, welfare bombs,
They're-
people with
you know
mental.
what?
There's 3 of them.
You said, see.
Come
you
on,
need-
let's
you
go.
ju-
Let's go. Let's go
You
after
said,
them.
though, we need to go on patrol. We need to talk to people. That's what they're doing. We just saw it.
I see distraction. I gotta take.
So anyway, we're back to Irving Media.
I have to take. I gotta take some more Ritalin. They turn around. What pissed me? The scanners were on when they were on the first day. They go. I hear this. And how many tickets have you given yet? Like it was a joke. That really. And I wasn't supposed to hear that.
No, but I was never big on. It's not about the tickets you write.
See how I get
Job you
distracted?
do. Yeah, I saw that.
We were
You're
talking
all
about
over
an
the place. But you were
emotional
talking
issue about Milton.
Yeah, you were
and
talking
finally you
Milton
want to talk
and the
about.
media,
And
so-
then let's say
Yeah.
right. That's the first time I see them this year.
And there you go. And I told you they were out there. You just didn't believe me, right?
Focus,
So, you're
Charles.
in media.
Focus.
Media.
So media, Irving Media didn't. There was no
You don't like
communication.
Irving Media.
I didn't say that. I said, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said the Irving Media, no, the media is controlled. Well, look at that Michael Theater. Do you want to have an opinion on that, Mr. Chief?
Yeah, I had a. Did you know I had an issue with Mr. Diagna?
You did?
I did. Want me to tell you the story?
I think I don't have a choice, do I?
Well, Mr. Diadler wrote a. He did an editorial cartoon. Do you remember when Corporal Francis
Yes.
came forward and had some mental health issues?
You took that very hard.
I did, and he eventually committed suicide.
Yeah.
And Diadler did an editorial cartoon making fun of Corporal Francis in Red Surge, smoking marijuana at the time. I saw that as a cry for help on his behalf, and I felt that it was totally inappropriate that he would do a cartoon and make fun of someone with mental health in the way that he did. And I asked the question, if you saw somebody that had a visible mental health issue, Downs, you wouldn't make fun of him in a cartoon. If you saw someone with a physical disability, wheelchair,
Only
would you make fun of him?
Only Donald Trump does that.
Well, that's right, exactly. And so I actually called the media. I spoke to the editor of the paper. I just sat down with an editorial board, and I said, you know what? You guys got to get your head wrapped around mental health issues. And what would they refer to Corporal Francis all the time? They would say, pot smoking Mountie. But they'd never say it was somebody that needed assistance, needed help, because he had some bona fide mental health issues. So that was the Adler, right? And Michael Camp, you know Michael Camp? He came back from the university and he went public and said that I knew nothing about journalism. And I went back and says, well, he knows nothing about police work. And him and I sat down. I went on the website. I found him. I sent him an email. I said, you said I know nothing about journalism. I said you know nothing about police work. Let's have lunch and talk about it. And we did. So Diadler, there's times when they got a hard job because they're always on the line and they can't cross it. And it's satire, I get that. They're trying to make some issues. But I don't think that was an issue. What I read about it.
You mentioned Ron Francis.
Yeah.
What do you think? You're the chief. that Saturday morning that I hear that I said I hear there was a native that the police arrested across City Hall, and at the end it was Ron Francis, and they arrested him for maybe that wasn't to degrade, to really arrest.
I know why they stopped him.
But anyway, we're not. But anyway, we're just.
It wasn't an arrest. They were trying to look out for his health.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
But
it's
sad. But now going back to by the way, you mentioned lunch. You invited me for lunch. Where does the chief eat?
Well, listen, it's 1 o'clock. We've been talking for an hour.
Where does the chief eat?
I eat wherever I go. Wherever it's open. Do you want to go for lunch?
You invited me over, yeah. Is it like the Godfather, an Italian restaurant?
No. How about there's a sandwich place just down the road? You want to go there?
So there's no Godfather?
No Godfather. We don't. No.
Is that the old days?
How about if you pick it?
Maybe. Okay, right quick, Moncton again. Yeah, and you're going to have some flashbacks in August.
Absolutely.
What are you going to do?
You learn to live with it. You'll never get rid of it.
How many people still on PTSD?
Where?
Moncton.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been there, Charles, in almost 4 years.
Remember, there was a lot.
There was a lot. But here's another issue. When you deal with an incident like Moncton, or you deal with an issue like Fredericton with the shooting, some people can take care of themselves and come back and be fully operational. Others come to a fork in the road and they realize that police work is not for them. And we've had some of those. But that's okay. You know, why am I a police officer and not a doctor? I mean, why am I a police officer and not a politician?
You should be a psychiatrist. No, you don't. You talk too much.
Yeah, the psychiatrist got to listen more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, no, I'm not good at that.
No,
but the thing is, though, Charles, there are a lot of people that have gotten help and have come back to work and are doing really, really well. Some left the organization, and others will be carrying baggage for the rest of their life. And what you do there, but it's no different than a physical ailment. If you have a concussion, once you have a concussion, you're prone to concussions, and the likelihood of a second one is more frequent. You know that. That's what came out of the hockey and the study.
Yeah.
They put in protocols.
Ronnie Hextall.
That's right. So what you got to do, though, in organizations is make sure you got checks and systems in place to intervene when someone needs help.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I wasn't around when I found out they said the rat patrol again.
You gotta stop calling them that. They're good people.
I mean the park patrol.
What was it?
Three girls?
No, there's I think it's a regular member and 2 summer students.
Did you do that on purpose? Send them around?
No,
here?
I didn't.
To distract me?
No, you put far too much thinking into that. I didn't know.
Too much of me. What the hell was I saying? I got distracted.
You're talking about Moncton.
Yeah, we're talking about sorry, hey, I got brain cells. Amazing. What happened here, I was up north in the machine, and then suddenly my cousin called. I said, here's the phone. And I looked, I said, oh my God, thank God you're not in Fredericton. And she told me 4 people were shot dead. I said, what? I couldn't believe it. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Jason Ford and Michael Fox, they were pallbearers. And Debbie Stafford. David Stafford did a fantastic job as master of ceremony. And Michael Fox and Jason arrived there, and they were pallbearers. They held it. I don't know how they did it. I mean, soldiers. But
when the chips are down, Charles, what do you do? But I know for a fact, though, that Fredericton Police didn't get through that alone. The city supported Fredericton Police. The citizens supported them. And I know through Moncton that when we were, and I've said this to you and I said it to others, when we were at our lowest point, that's when the citizens stepped up to the
But there's also idiots.
Well, they're everywhere.
No, I mean, really true, I won't swear.
No.
True idiots wanted to leave comments.
Yeah.
And on social media, right. Oh, a dead cop, what's the big deal? And I mean, these people are not humans.
No, they're not, and that's that's where the term high road comes from, right? And in life, though, Charles, you got to know which hill to fight on and which hill to die on. And sometimes those people, they're just really not worth spending that much effort dealing.
I call them idiot, coward, jerk face. They said, well, you won't post my comment. I said, listen,
It's not worth
I'll
it.
tell you what. I'll sit down with you, have a coffee, discuss your issues. If I'm in a good mood, I'll do a video of you, and we could discuss your issues. And if I'm in a really good mood, I'll let you take a swing at me.
That's right.
And then we'll go to the next step. Never
Right.
got
No,
one offer.
no, because you won't, because they're
No.
gutless.
Yeah, gutless.
You
Period.
and I both know that, and that's how they operate, right?
Yeah. So, did I miss anything?
We gotta go for lunch, 5 after
Oh,
1.
yeah, Godfather style again?
Wherever we go, you pick it. Go grab lunch. I'm gonna do another interview.
Hey, listen, don't be all excited. This is part 1. We'll do part 2
Whenever it works.
whenever it works. I like this. And no, do you like this better than when putting the camera in your face?
It's a lot easier, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just...
We get to see the good side of you.
Well, I'll tell you see the good side of me. We saw... Man, you know there's a good side of me anyway.
I
But
do.
then your side, I'll tell you one thing right now. Do not cross me. Okay? I don't give a damn if you're the chief of police. Now, you said communication with the public.
Yeah, I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
said
word
that,
you
yeah.
use. Okay?
So, and when I do it,
when you say you
you
do
gonna
something,
come,
you do
though?
it. I will definitely be there, and I'll do better.
what's that?
I'll sit down right in the corner, and I'll shut up and
Not
just
say a word?
listen. I
Okay,
won't say a word.
that's fair. I'll do it, and I'll let you know when it is.
Okay, stay tuned. Roger Brown.
Have a good day.
Merci beaucoup.
Bienvenue.
And we're going to see
La prochaine chicane.
the chicken, okay, la
Right,
prochaine
that's
chicken. And maybe there'll be an Italian restaurant, Godfather style. Who
We'll
knows?
go.
Stay tuned.